This is Empty the Bench with Tom Albano.
Everybody in Major League Baseball these days is a cheater, and they're all using it. They're not going to sell their own players, the possibility their own teammates out to call out another person.
Nick Morgeson.
You're going to have hitters that complain when the ball is not going out of the park, and then you're going to have pitchers complain when the ball is going out of the park. So it doesn't matter. You're going to have one side arguing that offense or defense is up.
And Nick Federa.
The textbook definition of irony will literally be erased from every dictionary around the world.
Empty the Bench starts now.
So he's basically swinging like a bad version of Tickle Me Elmo.
Well, we made it to 90 episodes here on Empty the Bench. I'm Tom Albano, along with Nick Morgeson and Nick Federa. Gentlemen, I guess, well, actually, let me specifically talk to you, Nick Morgeson. I guess the basketball gods heard that the next couple of weeks might be a little busy for you. Your status here on the show is a little questionable with you starting the new job, getting back in the radio business and everything. So I think the basketball gods decided, you know what? Let's try to give him an aneurysm.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. Well, you know what? We're going to have some breaking news at the end of the show. I'm going to share what's going on with me at the end of the show. So,
damn, I should have made popcorn. This is going to be good. I need to see this rant happen.
Well, we're going to have probably a couple of good basketball rants and even some non-basketball rants from this man. This is going to be the Nick Morgeson Show. You thought the last couple of weeks have been the Nick Morgeson Show? Well, this is about to be a whole nother level. So, where to start with all this madness? I think we need to start, first of all, with the first, I'd say, back on Wednesday, the NBA kind of imploded on itself. Let's start with the first thing that came out of it. Chris Paul placed in COVID-19 protocols, and actually, according to, because we were trying to figure out, what exactly was going on, according to 98.7 down in Arizona, Chris Paul has indeed tested positive for coronavirus.
How? That's what I want to know. How did he test positive? How did he get near somebody? That's Chris Paul calling me to not talk about him. But I don't know. But how? How did this happen?
Okay, I'm taking bets here, ladies and gentlemen. What are we thinking? Contact with somebody, stripper, or unfortunate French fry incident? What are we thinking?
Chicken wings.
Well, I was going to say chicken wings. Damn it.
No. Alien probing.
Alien probing. Yeah. I actually should write that down on my prop bet list. See, I've compiled a list of all dumb reasons people could actually come up with COVID, test positive for COVID-19 during the pandemic, because there are a lot of them, and I need to add that one. Yeah, I need to add that one.
I mean, the way that, we saw LeBron basically, and yes, there is going to be a LeBron rant during this show. But LeBron basically came out and said, I'm not saying whether I tested
took the vaccine or
I'm not going to tell when I get the vaccine. So what? So basically, everyone's just going to walk around and say, poor K.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Some of the NBA analysts, I think it was Shams, who actually broke this and said, well, maybe it isn't going to be as bad if Chris Paul is vaccinated. But the problem is, we don't know if any of these
The NBA is playing a dangerous game of whether should we say they got vaccinated? Should we not say they got vaccinated? Should we say whether they went out and did their own liquor line and that they decided to have a bunch of people at it? And because I'm LeBron James, I don't have to say anything.
Well, the problem
is the game there a little bit.
The problem is that by technically under rules under HIPAA, they can't exactly say it's up to the players to say whether they have.
It's an imperative. It should be the players should be saying more if they did or did not.
But wait a minute, this is not HIPAA. This is affecting a bunch of people around them. I was talking to somebody about this actually. That depending on what your situation is in a workplace, which I had to deal with, by the way. You don't have to say the name, but you have to say whether you were around the people that had it.
I'd say, well, the one thing I would say, it's it's probably, still pretty bad. But the one, I hate to use the word, but positive in this is that the series was already over. The Suns beat the Nuggets.
It was a sweep. It was a sweep. And literally, so I don't know if it's going to matter that they had all these days off. So we don't know how many days or how long he's had it.
That's the only thing, though, is we don't know how many practices have these guys been having.
You have another issue. You have another issue as well. So if he had COVID, does that mean his teammates and everybody around him, does that affect
Again, there's that. There's, obviously the Nuggets are out, but does that mean Nuggets players were at risk at this point?
Oh, yeah, they definitely.
Now, if I may apply contact tracer brain to this, enlighten me. When did the press release saying that he was in COVID protocols? Did they mention
couple days ago? The kid that
No, I think Nick's asking something else.
Did they mention in the statement how long he had been, or was it that day that he was placed?
No, they just said he was placed that day on protocol.
Okay, and that was 2 days ago?
Yes. I think it was like 2 days ago. Yeah.
Actually, no, Wednesday, 3 days ago.
Wednesday. So that was today's Saturday. I'm not good at math. So that's 3 days. So 10 days, 14 days.
That's a little risky.
It is a little risky. He's probably going to miss the first 2, maybe 3 games of the series because you're going to have to practice and you're going to have to. First of all, we don't know if he is symptomatic. We don't know if he is, again, because nobody's telling us. And we don't know anything about their contact tracing efforts because this is completely done conducted via cloak and dagger. So
we're missing a major issue here, which is how did he even get around somebody that passed the virus on to him?
I mean, if you're not wearing a mask and you're not vaccinated, it's pretty easy.
I was gonna say. Well, we could say, because it's easy to say, because restrictions have lessened everywhere. But the thing is, the NBA has never had, a clear,
concise program that they were going to follow. It was very piecemeal. Remember?
Exactly.
The NBA has no rules, and I hate to say this because they're going to say, well, we have strict COVID protocols, and we do this, and that. No, you don't.
We don't know what they are, but we know they're strict.
If you had strict COVID protocols, this wouldn't happen.
I was going to add, this is the league that basically opened up while we were still in the middle of the second wave. We said, okay, arenas can be at 20%. Everyone can be at home arenas, 20%. We can have teams travel everywhere. This is that same league. And the same league that said, thought about, jumping the frontline workers to get the vaccines, which the players obviously have.
Obviously, that message did not take as well as they thought it was going to.
But I don't understand this. And Nick has said this and Tom has said this. Tell us why or how they got it. We need to know how they got it. It's not fair to the public that we're freaking hiding all this information. It's not.
You can say that without putting any personal details.
I was going to say they have to find the balance between, HIPAA and privacy and matter of public health. And the thing is, I think they can make that line. They can do that, but they don't.
And you don't know if he was around anybody else that wasn't technically around the team or wasn't technically affiliated with the team. So their contact tracing efforts. So I don't know if it includes them. So what are we going to do about the other people, random people that he might have been in contact with while, shedding virus?
If that's the case and he was around people that were not part of protocol, he actually should be suspended.
Again, but we've seen that the league will bend rules for LeBron James. So,
yeah, the same guy who will still not tell us whether he got vaccinated.
Again, but you were the one who said that LeBron James, they'll bend the rules for him. What makes you think they wouldn't do that? What makes you think they wouldn't do that for Chris Paul?
Because LeBron James matters more to the NBA than Chris Paul does.
Well,
Chris Paul does matter to the NBA. You don't think so?
Well, actually, let me take back one thing. He is the Players Association president, which is a whole nother issue in itself. So they can't really do anything because then he's just going to tell the Players Association to do whatever against the NBA.
So speaking of does he matter to the NBA, how important he is or not? Well, we mentioned that the Suns are in the Western Conference Finals, and so too are the LA Clippers, coming down from an 0-2 hole to take 4 games and move on as of last night. So we're going to have the Suns versus the Clippers starting tomorrow night. However, no Chris Paul and no Kawhi Leonard.
Before we go there, Ty Lue is like a cat with 9 lives. This is the 3rd time that he's come back from an 0-2 series deficit.
I mean, I hate to say it, but he's made of titanium. You can't get rid of him. He's a bad penny. He always turns up.
I was telling Tom this before we started. Unfortunately, and this might not be a very popular opinion, but I feel like this is kind of karma against Kawhi.
Why? Because you think Kawhi Leonard did something?
No, I think that do you remember the term load management?
Yeah.
This man has more load management than playing actual games. This guy should not be getting hurt.
Change his name to Tonka. He's basically load bearing at this point.
So,
do you agree with me though that he's more load management than he is playing?
I mean, yeah, but because we've seen a rash of players go down with injuries this year, and that's apparently becoming a problem according to the Lakers. I mean,
we'll get into that next,
and we'll get into that in a bit. But this is not surprising. Players are dropping like flies.
So
it's unfortunate, but it's unsurprising.
So it started on Wednesday, that same day, about the Chris Paul news. It started with that it was a knee sprain and he wasn't going to play that night. And it slowly devolved into, well, he might have a problem with his ACL and we don't know when he's going to come back.
Which, it's those three letters put together are probably the worst combination in sports.
I just don't get it. I mean, I understand, and I'm going to go piss all over LeBron James's you-know-what, because I'm pissed off at his comments on Twitter, but
hold till the next segment.
But what I was going to say is, unfortunately, I have no sympathy for Kawhi because he sits more games out than he plays.
But I mean, it's unfortunate. You don't feel bad because it's shitty timing. I do feel bad for him.
I was gonna say, I feel kind of bad for the NBA in this case because we're gonna have the Suns versus the Clippers, and there's a good chance that we may not see either Chris Paul or Kawhi Leonard in this series at all. It may very well be, Paul George. It may very well be Paul George, Terrence Mann. Those are the guys.
Terrence the Man, seriously, 39 points to clinch that series last night. What an unbelievable performance. And by the way, I called up Adam Silver beforehand and I said we need to make the series worse so that they don't earn any money. So
and add Devin Booker into the mix. And I said this, prior to us going on the air. I mean, if you think about it, imagine if Brooklyn and Atlanta lose their game 7s respectively tonight and tomorrow, setting up a Final Four of Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and the Clippers and the Suns. It might very well be the worst Final Four in recent NBA memory.
By the way, Joel Embiid has become like one of the dirtiest players in the NBA. Also, did you see that brawl that happened in that game last night?
That was bad.
I mean,
yeah, that was bad.
That was like Ben Wallace and Ron Artest all over again, except it wasn't in the stands. Actually, it was technically in the stands under the basket. And Joel Embiid he's like a scarecrow just pushing Collins back. And then you see Trae Young try to get involved. I love how they only gave double technicals and they didn't eject anybody. I'm like, double technicals, whatever.
So where's Suns in 4 guy when you need him?
On Barstool, making a lot of money.
I don't know, because to be honest with you, it's the possibility of a series full of second bananas, and I don't know if we want that.
That's what Tom said beforehand.
It's going to be Devin Booker versus Paul George, and that it's going to be the number 2s on each team, basically.
I would take Devin Booker in a heartbeat over Paul George. I'm just saying that now.
Quick, call the bat signal, but then Robin shows up.
Okay, so you were going to actually answer the question I was going to ask. So, in the case that neither Chris Paul or Kawhi end up playing in the series, who has the easiest time? Who could have the easiest time in overcoming? So you say the Suns.
The Suns have a much better core of younger players. Paul George is Paul George and everybody else, unfortunately. And and I wouldn't consider Patrick Beverly exactly the best number 3 in the world. Just saying.
Well, either CP3 or PG-13, one of them's gonna, how they're part of the, playoff, when the playoffs come, they collapse. So one of them's gonna have to advance. One of them's gonna have to play in the finals.
It's the battle of the acronyms.
I don't know. I think the Suns win this series. It's not going to be quick, but I think the Suns are going to win it.
What's their name? Secret Base. Please pay attention now for the rest of this playoffs. We might have any potential new nominees for the worst.
Oh, God.
All right. Let's talk about the comments LeBron made following Kawhi's injury.
No, not that Nick really needs another reason to take a crap all over LeBron James, because he's basically made a habit out of it. But okay, so let's, you know what? I'm going to let Mr. Basketball. I'm going to let the rabbit ferret out of its cage. So go ahead.
Excuse me as I'm choking because I can't stand LeBron. So LeBron puts out a 3-tweet thread, which I thought was totally unnecessary and totally, I'm LeBron James, I can say whatever I want and not get penalized for it. So it starts with, they all didn't want to listen to me about the start of the season. Now this has Rob Manfred syndrome written all over it, by the way. I knew exactly what would happen. I only wanted to protect the well-being of the players, which ultimately is the product and benefit of our game. By the way, that's me with his inflection of capital letters. These injuries, his grammar is terrible. These injuries isn't just part of the game. It's the lack of pure rim rest. Before starting back up, 8, possibly 9 All-Stars have missed playoff games, most in league history. Oh, so he's a statistician now. I didn't know that. This is the best time of the year for our league and fans, but a ton of our fave players. Oh, nice scramble, LeBron. It's insane. If there's one person that knows about the body and how it works all year round, it's me. Oh, so he's a doctor now. I didn't know that in his spare time. I speak for the health of all players, and I hate to see this many injuries this time of the year. Sorry, fans. Wish you guys were seeing all your favorite guys right now.
So let me try to put this into the best way.
He's not wrong.
In one way, you're right in that he is not wrong. No, they started, Nick, you have to admit, it was a little concerning, and you guys said it was a little concerning back in October when the NBA said, okay, we just had the finals, the Lakers just beat the Heat, we're going to start up 2 months from now, and we're going to be back to normal.
You are going to have to make the time up one way or the other. So it was either going to be now or it was going to be down the line. You had no choice.
But there was a smarter way to do it, and the NBA didn't do it.
Look at the NHL. The NHL, we haven't seen out of division play until now with the NHL semifinals.
And he's right. I mean, I really do think in this case you're letting your LeBron bias get in the way of your logic, Nick.
No, I first of all, some of the lines that I pointed out to you guys a few days ago, he should not be saying I'm speaking up for the health of other players. That's not. That is kind of BS-y. And also, he's saying he knows how the body works. Shut up! You don't know anything. You're not a doctor.
I mean, if this is going to end up with him becoming some kind of wellness guru, like Tom Brady, if he's going to start, trafficking in quackery, let's say, I mean, then you could say
he pays $1 million a year for his body. He says
he's gonna.
Yeah, I guess I know that, but if he's going to start shilling mineral water, I mean, then you could say something.
Wait. From the makers of TB12 comes LB6. It would be LB23, but he's changing his number again. So
it's LeBron water. Granted, it's bath water, but you won't tell.
It's actually the secret stuff that Michael Jordan had in Space Jam.
No, I thought that wasn't actually water in the bottle. It was just Spite.
LeBron James, where 4/4 of the bottle doesn't exist.
No, I was gonna say. No, Spite, that's in Nick Morgeson's water.
Yeah. Well, we find ourselves in this situation because of poor planning, and I hate to say it, but greed kind of overrode. I mean, the NBA doesn't give a crap about their players' health and safety.
But of course, it's greed, and of course, let's see, who do I want to blame? ESPN, TNT, NBA TV, Bleacher Report,
or do we just go to the very top? Adam Silver.
Yeah, it starts and ends with him. No matter how much you think that LeBron may be a mouthpiece, or not necessarily a mouthpiece, as much as you might think that he is the mouth of the league, it's Adam Silver. He's the one who ultimately calls the shots.
Adam Silver is in a tough spot regardless, whether he started it later down the line, which they wanted it to start on Martin Luther King Day. That's the day that they wanted the season to start, but they couldn't come to an agreement. I think that was the TV networks.
I know. It's because the TV networks, they didn't want to lose the Christmas Day games.
Because right. you know what it is. They looked at their spreadsheets and they said, "We lost a lot of money. We got to get it back." Oh my God!
And first of all, I feel like LeBron shouldn't be saying, "All right, 8, 9 All-Stars." And the other issue you have here, because you had asked me, Tom, I think a couple of weeks ago, why aren't they in the bubble? I said because you couldn't start in the bubble and then come out of it. It wouldn't have worked.
I mean, you could probably find a way to do that. You definitely could find a better way to do it than what they did.
But I'm saying you can't start in one place and then go to another. You're going
to in a way, okay, I understand that. But then again, I bring up what the NHL did. They started around January. They didn't have anything other than division play for till now, and their playoffs are almost over.
Yeah, but didn't the NHL have more issues coming to an agreement on the schedule? Scheduling.
They're lucky that they were able to play in Canada.
I was going to say that was their big issue was Canada.
Because now,
can you get everybody up there in a reasonable amount of time, and can you do this from a logistics standpoint?
I hate to say it, Nick, but with how Canada is right now,
they're worse.
Not just that they're worse, but because of that, Toronto, the Raptors may have to play in the U.S. for still another season, maybe even 2.
Blue Jays as well. They still haven't gone back to Toronto.
No.
The Raptors also.
No, that's what I said. The Raptors.
Yeah, that's what you just said.
So I don't know. It's
a
bad
situation all around. But the NBA wasn't taking the steps.
I hate to say this, but now the other thing that you're right in is LeBron saying that he's sticking up for his players, because we have seen times where LeBron doesn't stick up for his players.
LeBron cares about one thing:
when it's expedient for him. When it makes him look good, then he sticks up.
I was gonna say I was gonna say in these comments, I not fully, not 100%, but to a degree, I do feel there's a little we got out in the first round and I was sitting at home.
No, duh. Of course he's pissed off that he's sitting at home.
I mean, if there's at least you can do the Space Jam press. You can do the Space Jam press and not have to worry about missing games.
But can we say something? He won his championship with the Lakers. And by the way, I still put an asterisk on that championship because it wasn't a full season.
Is it me or has the NBA just rubbed me the wrong way this season?
It's amazing how LeBron complains after winning a championship in a bubble, which was probably to the Lakers' advantage.
It was to the Lakers' advantage.
And now he's complaining because, we're back. We're out of the bubble. Everyone's hurt. He's making it look like he's caring about everyone else, but in terms, he's really talking about himself.
And I hope, and I just want to say, I also hope that none of this is discrediting the Suns, because the Suns, Chris Paul's situation aside, have been probably the story of the playoffs.
I really want the Suns to make it to the finals. I think they deserve to be on the stage. I really do.
And this is from somebody whose team is still on the other side as of today.
Yeah,
I like to see Nets Suns. I think that'd be really good.
That would be a great final, especially if you can get CP3 back.
Yeah.
And you can get Harden back.
Especially when they only played 8 games together during the regular season.
All right, so we still have a couple more NBA stories before we go on to the other sports. This was the big news that's dropped within the last 36 hours. The Celtics, the Brad Stevens era has begun. The first transaction has gone down. Kemba Walker and the number 16 pick are off to Oklahoma City. The Celtics trade Walker, number 16 in this year's draft, and a 2025 second to the Oklahoma City Thunder in exchange for Al Horford, Moses Brown, and a second in 2023.
Just so you know, in the upcoming draft, the Thunder now have 3 first-round picks.
The Thunder are acquiring so much draft capital, and now they've got Kemba Walker. It's amazing.
Let me clarify one thing. That actually is going to be a dump because they just traded him, and then they're going to move him again, I heard.
Oh, my.
Of course, you take off the Thunder. It's like Scooby-Doo. You take off the Thunder's mask, and it's actually the Knicks.
Yeah. But actually, they got the Thunder to take all 73. They got the Thunder to take all $73 million of his contract also.
I mean, maybe you can help me understand this. Why would they trade Kemba Walker?
Because he didn't fit there.
He didn't fit there, but he was still a good player. And you trade him for
he was hurt.
35-year-old Al Horford?
I was gonna say, and they get Al Horford back after they didn't want to pay him in the first place.
Well, he did have a long contract with them. They didn't want to re-sign him, but you just
again,
traded for him.
35.
Because
35.
they're looking for a veteran presence in the locker room that they didn't have.
I mean, if he's going to be the guy, I mean, I think they're counting on him to be the guy.
No, Jason Tatum is the guy.
Okay, no, but they trade away Walker and they trade away the first, a first round draft pick in this coming draft. So
it was so that they would take the money.
Yeah, but I don't know. The Brad Stevens.
Wait a minute. You're clearing $73 million off their payroll. That's money they can spend.
Okay, that is true. But still, the Brad Stevens era is just off to a roaring start.
Yeah, considering everything that's gone on this offseason, I think the Celtics are having a bad time of it.
You mean like this?
Essentially.
Okay, so that means who are the Celtics going to spend money on? Let's see who's available after this.
There's not much. There's really not much.
CP3 and Kawhi, are their contracts up?
Kawhi is, I think, in an opt-out, which he probably will do.
Well, Kawhi's off the table now.
Actually, if he was smart, he actually wouldn't take the opt-out at this point.
Oh, yeah, that's true. CP3, let's see after him. Mike Conley, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Otter Porter.
It's not really much. As Nick would say, you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel at this point.
It's not you're not even scraping the barrel. You're scraping the ground underneath the barrel.
I mean,
don't get me wrong. Kyle Lowry is a good player. DeMar
Kyle
DeRozan
Lowry's a good player, but it's not 2015.
Also, I don't think Kyle Lowry's leaving Toronto anytime soon.
Oh, I think he is. I think he is.
So, I'm just saying, so all that money to spend in free agency, good job, except...
got nothing to spend it on.
Maybe CP3?
I mean, maybe.
Nick was right, by the way.
Unless he decides to take that cap money and basically spend it on some kind of weird interpretive dance project.
Nick, I'm going to say take a bow now because you said something earlier about how you're pretty much seeing the Knicks. This is like the Knicks back in 2010 and in 2013 when free agency came by and they had all this money expecting LeBron and D-Wade to come to New York.
Don't you goddamn remind me.
But I'm just saying, that's what this is. The Celtics are doing the same thing.
Oh, it still hurts. You would be better off just buying all the Sam Adams in the Tri-City area around Boston, stacking it up, and then just leaving it there.
I mean, the difference is the Knicks.
It's Whole Mountain.
The one difference is the Knicks. Basically, nobody wants to come to them because of reputation. In the Celtics case, they have all this money and there's really not too much out there unless they're going to give a buttload overpay of money to, I don't know, Tim Hardaway.
It's like trying to a Girl Scout cookie, a Girl Scout troop trying to sell cookies to a guy whose house is burning down.
Ouch.
I'll take the cookies. I promise. No, there are other things.
All right,
Everything's
we've had quite a few moves as of late. Stan Van Gundy lasted all of one season in New Orleans. Congratulations.
I mean, why don't you just go ask Dwight Howard how he feels about Stan Van Gundy at this point?
Oh God, don't remind me of that beef.
So Scott Brooks is also out as the Wizards head coach. Wait
a minute. This was mutual because they couldn't come to a contract agreement. That's basically a nice way of saying sayonara. See ya.
No trust in the process for you no more. Bye.
Oh. And the Mavericks. Well, the Mavericks are the Mavericks, and everything's falling apart.
So Donnie Nelson is out as the GM, and Rick Carlisle, after 12 seasons, walks away as the head coach.
Stable as a sandcastle, I tell you.
And we might still have a pissed off Luka Doncic and a still pissed off Kristaps Porzingis
and Mark Cuban.
And everything's going to hell over there.
Don't forget, Mark Cuban is going after the Athletic, because they said that their front office is in shambles.
I mean, it is.
Yeah, I really think that his thing is Mark Cuban's problem is not that it's not true. It's who told you.
Actually, at this rate, he's going to need to smoke a few Cubans to get out of this whole situation.
Maybe. All right. That was fun to have all that basketball, but let's get on to the other sports. So, we've got some cracking down to do in baseball.
Speaking of cracking, I may have gone a little nuts on last week's show talking about this, and I've learned to be a little bit more, not necessarily calmer, but a little bit more erudite in my criticism, if that's the word I'm looking for. Because I still believe that this is a problem that the MLB created and then did nothing about.
Yep.
And I still believe that they're screwing with the baseball to screw over their free agent classes.
Well,
now, call me a tinfoil hat person if you will, but I still believe that. I believe that the MLB is its own demon.
Well, we could say right from the start, where you have places like Arizona and Colorado where they have to kind of dehumidify the baseballs, because if they didn't, you would have Home Run Derby Central, which, by the way, there is some news on the Home Run Derby. If we have a minute or two, we'll get to that. But
oh, yeah.
But it's a weird situation. And actually, who wants to hear from Tyler Glass now?
Oh, God.
Let me hang on. Let me check my notes. Nobody.
I was going to say, I mean, considering we're Yankee fans and this season's gone, while the Rays are up there, I don't know if I want to.
The last person I want, put it to you this way, I would hear from Satan before I would hear from Tyler Glass now.
Jesus.
Oh, wow. But, by the way, I'm getting something in my ear. I heard that we actually have the Tyler Glass now audio. It was just sent to me. Okay, here we go. Here's what Tyler Glasnow had to say about foreign substances and how it makes him worse and might have led to his injury. Here we go.
I 100% believe that contributed to me getting hurt. No doubt, without a doubt. I think it's ridiculous. I have used sticky stuff before. It's ridiculous that it seems like this whole public perception of it's just select few people. Your favorite pitcher probably 50 years ago was using something too. If you felt these balls, how inconsistent they were, you have to use something. So in the past, my substance of choice is sunscreen and rosin. Just nothing egregious, something to where I can get a grip on the ball so it doesn't feel dusty. But 2 starts ago against the Nationals, I went cold turkey, nothing. And before that start, I remember when all this stuff came out, I was talking to people and talking to doctors, and they were like, the thing that maybe MLB doesn't realize or that players don't realize is what is the injury, what is the prevention of maybe it'll add to injuries. And in my mind, I was like, that sounds dumb. That sounds like an excuse a player would use to make sure he can use sticky stuff. But
okay. So what the hell?
So is he coming out in favor of sticky stuff, or is he?
Yes, he's coming out. He's coming out in favor of sticky stuff. And to make it worse, it's a 2-prong attack. He's saying that because he can't use sticky stuff anymore, he had to grip the ball harder, and it led to his UCL tear.
Okay. So considering he's the one who had to open up his big fat mouth and start all this, well, he was one of them. I don't think I want to hear from you.
Actually, I need to clarify one thing. He's not the one who started this. He's the first open mouth to say something.
He's the first open mouth to admit it.
Trevor Bauer was the one who started this.
I mean, yeah, and you can't tell me he's not using something. My point is, again, the onus was on the MLB to fix this problem, and they did nothing.
Guys, it's steroids 2.0.
I mean, it's definitely dumber than that.
I don't know if I would say it's steroids 2.0 because steroids actually enhances your performance. I wouldn't say that using sticky stuff is necessarily enhancing your performance.
Some people think it does because the tackiness of the ball allows it to spin more, which allows you the hitter can't pick it up as well.
This is like the fifth or sixth pitcher I've heard say that there's dustiness on the baseball, and that's why they have to use stuff. What is dustiness?
I mean, dirt.
I mean, I am one who, I would like to see this game absolutely clean, but the problem is it seems like there's always a controversy. Like right now we have the crackdown of substances, and we've had, all the technology between, the Yankees, Red Sox with the Apple Watches and Houston with the freaking center field cameras, the steroid scandal. Guys, is it me or is just, all these controversies that have happened the last 25 years, it's just putting a sickening feeling in my stomach.
It is. It absolutely is. And actually, I can promo something that Tom and I actually did. We had an interview with Jimmy Traina from SI Sports Media. I asked him a question whether Rob Manfred was fit enough to run baseball.
And he said basically, well, remember, he works for the owners. And if he's making the owners money, and right now he is, then technically, yes. But it's not, debatable that Rob Manfred has made some really stupid decisions. I mean, i.e. the runner on second in extra innings, these 7-inning doubleheaders. Madison Bumgarner would like to say hello.
And of course, the Astros. Because if you want to crack down on cheating, you start there. But you didn't do that, did you?
Guys, let's and combine that with the reports of they juiced the baseballs and now they've deadened the baseballs. Guys, it feels like to me that this whole league is full of cheaters.
First of all, the one thing I would say is if the players can prove that the balls were deadened and it was for free agency reasons, they should just file a lawsuit.
Well, we have a report. I'd say I don't know about the proof thing, but we have a report from Sports Illustrated that says first they were juiced and then they were.
No, but I'm saying if the players are coming out like Pete Alonso did, now, like I said a couple weeks ago, I would have been fine with his statement if he didn't say these are facts. Okay, same thing with what's his name on the Twins that went after Garrett Cole, Josh Donaldson, which was completely inappropriate, by the way, and. If they really think they have a case that the baseballs are deadened, file a lawsuit against Rob Manfred in Major League Baseball. That's it. End of story, and let the courts handle it.
It's really not that hard to believe that they would do something like this.
Well, technically, he's working for the owners, like Tom said.
Because MLB owns the company that makes the baseballs.
Then file a lawsuit.
They own Spalding.
Hey, Vince McMahon, if you're out there, please, XLV, please.
No. Don't give him that. Shh. Don't give him that idea.
What?
I mean,
you can't hit the players with the baseball? What the fuck is the point of that?
I mean, guys, if he actually ends up selling WWE, he might have some time on his hands.
But,
Peacock could definitely get into live sports.
Hey. You're talking about hitting players with like the baseballs, guys. What if we had MLB Slugfest come to life?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, but I was going to say,
yeah. Fuck all that noise. Just give me a steel cage match.
What I would say is,
I want Dylan Betances versus all comers. I want to see Aaron Judge and Dylan Betances go at it.
No. Can we throw Kyle Farnsworth in there as well?
Oh God, Legends match.
Wait, but I was going to say, Tyler Glasnow, if you ever listen to this rinky-dink show that we do, I would say, shut up! No one gives a crap what you have to say. In my opinion, I would just say F it and let them use the substances for crying out loud. But at the same time, no one gives a crap if you got injured from using freaking substances.
And you can't tell me they weren't doing it last year if they were doing it and they were hitting home runs left and right.
And Mr. Glasnow, you're a cheater. A cheater. You admitted to using the substances. You're a cheater.
I mean, I'm not about to go throwing accusations around, but
he admitted it. He said in the presser that I used sticky stuff, Nick.
This league sucks. I'm sorry, guys. This league freaking sucks.
But am I wrong though? He admitted to using the sticky stuff.
No, he did. I'm just saying. I'm saying, guys. Let's face it. We have all this cheating for the last 25 years or plus years over a children's game.
Well, cheating goes on in all sports, but Major League Baseball seems to be at the forefront of it.
It's a pandemic.
Yeah, but you don't see the little leaguers caulking bats, do you?
I kind of missed that when Sammy Sosa had the bat, and that's the only time you find it, when you crack open a broken bat, and you just find all the corks on the ground.
Okay.
A father is not going to have his 6-year-old have pine tar on the rim of his cap.
I mean, you never know.
7-year-old George Brett in this situation.
You never know. We might, some parents get a little ridiculous these days, but. You know what? Let's just move on, guys. Let's move on to another league that sent out a big memo this week, the National Football League. And I am actually going to, let's see if I can get this on. Yes, so here is the memo that the NFL sent out, in which it has set guidelines for training camp and for the preseason, for what fully vaccinated versus not fully vaccinated players can do.
Is this media included?
Is
this media included? Because I heard they were involved in this process also.
I don't know.
I don't know. All I heard was players right now. So here's fully vaccinated. So you see here, first of all, right at the top, fully vaccinated, there will be no daily testing. However, if you're not fully vaccinated, you will be forced to test for COVID every day. If fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear masks at the club facility or team travel. If you're not fully vaccinated, you do. Let's see here. Players who are not fully vaccinated still must remain physically distant in the clubhouse, still have travel restrictions, 15-player limit in the weight room. They cannot eat in actually the cafeteria. They have to have they have to be physically distant. Staff actually have to use grab and go. No social media, marketing, and sponsorship activities. That's a big one. You may not use the sauna or the steam room, and you may not leave the team hotel to eat at restaurants, and you can't interact with anybody outside the team traveling party.
This sounds like Major League Baseball when they first implemented all their rules.
The rules are all well and good, but are you going to enforce it?
No.
Well, probably that. Well, that's the thing. On one hand, this seems like, Roger Goodell trying to get all of his players vaccinated. On the flip, I don't know if all of this is going to be enforced. I think teams are going to be, very willing to let some of these things slip through the cracks.
It's because especially if you have players like Cole Beasley. Now, context is necessary. Mr. Beasley of the Buffalo Bills put out a statement yesterday. I think was it a Medium thing, or was it just on his notes app on his iPhone?
I thought I just saw him put it out on Twitter. That's where I
think what happened is he did the I'll put this in notes, take a screenshot, and upload it to all my social media.
Twitter, saying essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, but I'm not going to get the vaccine. I refuse to. I'm going to live my life, and I'm not going to be afraid of this thing. If I get sick, I get sick. I'll build up immunity. Now, I'm no epidemiologist, nor do I play one on TV, nor do I even look like anybody who might be an epidemiologist. But I'm going to, venture a guess and say, that's not how it works!
Well,
that's not how it works! It's not how immune systems work. How people who died in pandemics in the past, what they wish they had?
Vaccine?
Vaccines! Magic liquid that would make you not get sick. It's amazing, isn't it? So you know what you're basically saying to us, Cole? It's, I don't care if you die. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Well,
and I feel bad for the other teammates that are, and he's not going to do it.
No, I was going to say is congratulations, Cole. I hope you have fun still wearing your mask, still having to be physically distanced. It's nice over here on the fully vax side.
I was going to
You're
say.
infringing on my freedom. Your freedom to get sick.
I was going to say
Is that it? Your freedom to get sick. Go ahead. Watch what happens.
I'll let you get it all out. Are you done?
You've had COVID. You know
No,
how bad it is.
I know. I'm just saying, are you done? Because I'm going to make a point afterwards.
Go ahead.
In my opinion, if you don't get the vaccine, you should not be allowed to play in any games. That's what I think. If you can't follow the rules,
you can't exactly make a law against that because
the league is saying you have to get the vaccine.
Yes, but
technically no, but you're going to be restricted in so many ways. Now, again, I don't know if the teams are going to follow that.
I don't understand. Why can't these leagues are private entities? They can do what they want. If you don't get the vaccine, you don't play.
They can do what they want, but again, you don't want players, bringing a lawsuit against the league saying, "Hey,
is Cole Beasley a name that anyone cares about anymore?" No.
I mean,
if you're in Buffalo, yeah.
In your Buffalo, especially because now that John Brown's gone, Cole Beasley's going to be the number 2 receiver over there.
Okay. Who gives a crap?
This attitude that he has is it's more widespread than you think it is. Because I'm going to bet dollars to donuts that Tom Brady isn't vaccinated either.
I was going to say, honestly, Cole Beasley is a one-man thing of, comparison to what we think is going on in the NBA with all its players.
He should take a look around the rest of the league and say, hey, oh, wait, most of the players have it. Maybe I'm making an ass out of myself and maybe I should get it.
I mean, I was going to say, because as much as I hate baseball, as much as I hate the MLB right now, everything that's going on, at least credit to them, that there's a good significant number of players, it seems, that have been vaccinated.
And I'm really sick and tired of having to do the tap dance about convincing people to get their shots on this show, because vaccines, they work. Get yours today. I know I've said that, and I'm sick and tired of having to do it.
And I just want to say the same thing that Tom says all the time. We're not pushing out the vaccine. We're not a paid advertisement for the vaccine. We're just saying that it worked. I had COVID. It works. That's all we're saying here.
You had COVID and you got yours. I got mine as soon as it was available. And Tom, you got yours as soon as you could.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just saying it feels nice to be on the other side, on the fully vax side.
It felt nice that I was able to go out to lunch earlier, and I didn't technically have to wear my mask outside for the most part because I have my vaccine.
I would still do it anyway, but
no. I'm just saying, like, I was eating outside with a friend.
Yeah, I know.
But the vaccine gets you closer to normalcy.
Yeah, it gets you closer to normal. Of course, I'm still probably going to wear a mask because I'm just paranoid about everything. But that's just me.
All right, moving on. One other story. Hello, Nick. Another edition. This is the return edition of Tony Buzbee.
So is it weird that the last 3 months have felt like 3 years and I completely forgot about this guy?
I kind of forgot about him too until I saw that Pro Football Talk. Who
I was like, hey, yeah, you put that message in the chat before the show, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the thing that's happening.
And Pro Football Talk, which by the way, I've come to the conclusion is probably one of the more biased reporting platforms out there.
I mean, it's Mike Florio's own blog.
Yeah,
basically.
But Mike Florio's doesn't seem to have what they call journalistic integrity.
I mean, throw a rock, you're gonna hit somebody who doesn't have that in sports.
So the thing is, context is necessary. Mr. Buzbee has come back out, and we had those little bits and pieces of reports saying that a settlement was possibly soon. Well, he is vehemently denying it. Now, you mentioned Mr. Florio, so he is basically saying that settlements probably are coming and are being discussed. But once again, I'm not sure if you guys remember this from when we had a story about this situation with Deshaun Watson every week, that everything is boiling down to basically the confidentiality stuff.
Yeah, he said, she said, I'm rubber, you're glue defense.
A debate over can these women be anonymous. Because now I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm misremembering, there was a court order that basically said that they would have to come forward, all the women.
They would have to come forward, at least the ones that had their
certain ones. I don't know.
First of all, and I keep asking this question a million times, should he really be talking about this stuff on the outside?
I mean, no, but I'm not a lawyer.
Again, I would say with all these accusations against Deshaun, puts him in a really bad light. We say every negative thing about Deshaun in this situation, but for Buzbee, this is conduct not becoming of a prosecutor or a lawyer. A lawyer, yeah.
I don't know. This was just a quick update story at best because we still don't have information on it.
No.
He just came out and said that we're not settling. And as Nick would say, this falls under the category of no shit, Sherlock.
Yes, it does.
And there's still that story's still coming together. And one last thing here, little Olympics story. So if you guys remember, the top medical, people over in Japan have been saying no games. Now the top medical advisor in Japan is saying that if we are going to go on with the games,
they are. It's not.
It seems like it is going to. I mean, the NBA, it's announcing players now for Team USA, and so it looks like we are going to have it. However, the top medical advisor is recommending no fans in attendance for any of the games. Now, originally the plan, I believe, was there could be no outside, like if you're traveling to the United States to Tokyo for the Olympic, you can't do that anymore. Like it was only going to be local people in Japan were going to be the only ones allowed to go to the Olympics.
To attend the games.
Now the top medical advisor is saying, like we see with the empty arena shows for like UFC and stuff, only the athletes, only their teams, media members should be the only people allowed.
Now we must again, context is necessary. So
the COVID situation in Japan is terrible.
The situation in Japan, they're in the middle of a wave. Their vaccination rate, I think I don't have the number of.
It's 3 to 4%. 3 to
4%. And
so the hospitals.
That's not very good.
And more importantly, hospitals are being overwhelmed.
And I don't know whether it's an issue of vaccine hesitancy or it's just hard to get a hold of a vaccine,
or it's another form,
it's another variant,
or it's political bias.
It's a bunch of different things. A melange of different factors comes into play here. Now, what this all amounts to is if you thought that the IOC was actually going to postpone this another year or relocate the Olympics, you don't know the IOC very well.
The original plan, if I remember last year, was if they were going to, not have it this year, that it was just going to be canceled point blank period. Because remember, we have another Olympic Games coming up in the winter time.
Yes,
they have a 2-year window. That's how it works. You have a 2-year window to get an Olympics in. If you don't get it in within the 2-year window, it's done. It's over.
Because
it's not the first time they've canceled an Olympic Games. I mean,
no, the 2020 was the first time that we didn't have a scheduled Olympics, I believe, since World War II. I think that was the last time.
Yeah.
But you can have a winter and summer Olympics in the same year. They used to do
but I think now that they have the every 2 years thing, summer, 2 years later winter, 2 years later summer, I think they want to stay on that.
Well, this effed everything up. But COVID effed everything up. So it doesn't
everything,
really matter.
Yeah.
But
the IOC is not dealing with this very well.
Well, first of all, you have the IOC dealing with the whole political nonsense.
I was gonna say, you're saying the IOC isn't handling this well? No, I'm shocked. No.
So I was about to say no shit. They're not handling it well, but you know what?
Wait, you're telling me FIFA's also corrupt? Oh my god!
guys.
The
IOC is handling this as well as that one runner who tested positive and is blaming it on a burrito. Yo quiero taco steroid.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Oh God, that's gonna.
Wait, talk about real bean counters.
Oh God!
All right. Let's actually end on a very positive note. I mean, well, we have your announcement, but one more quick story we have to mention. Just Shohei Ohtani is going to be in the home run derby. Now I'm a little scared for his production because, that could screw his swing up. I remember when Aaron Judge was entering, basically, that was the whole conversation. But, kind of exciting. Ohtani's been one of the more exciting players of this season.
And if I may, make a plea directly to Shohei Ohtani, I'm not sure if he actually listens to this show. If you do, hi. Can I make a plea directly to him?
Okay.
If I may? Don't do it. Please don't do it.
Really?
Don't do it. We need you. We need you to be healthy and making trick plays and striking people out. Don't go in the home run derby because it will screw your swing up.
All right, Nick Morgeson, your announcements.
I mean, it would be entertaining, but that it is what it is. All right, as I said, breaking news. So here it is. So I've been talking to the guys for quite a while. I've been sitting on the sidelines since December 31st, the end of the year. I walked away from my older job because of COVID issues and just didn't really want to be in political warfare anymore. There's
only so much Rudy Giuliani you can take in one sitting.
I wasn't going to go that far, but okay. So the announcement is I am heading to WFAN. I am heading to WFAN as a part-time board op.
Nice.
And my first day is the 24th. I don't have a schedule yet. The plan is to keep doing this show. And if I have to, some weeks, I will executive produce behind the scenes if I have to.
So you will be seeing a lot. So we're not going anywhere, but there may be some changes, but we will keep you abreast of everything in case of, programming notes.
I'd say whether it's, hosting or whether it's, a change of time slot, we'll let you know how this goes.
I will be there. I'm not going anywhere. It's just my capacity will change a little bit from time to time.
Yeah, it might not. Because if you know, can you tell us? Because we don't know.
No, I don't know yet.
Yeah, all three. No, I'm saying if anybody out there knows, can you tell us? Because we don't know.
So when I get my schedule, everyone will know. And but yeah, I am getting to be part of the iconic brand of WFAN and CBS Sports Radio as a board op. And we'll go from there.
So I would like to end on just one note here.
I knew that was going to happen too. I was like, wait, I was like,
damn, Mike Francesa left. I would want to know what he actually does smell like in real life.
All right, we're ending there. We're cutting off there. So
probably burning plastic.
Thank you for tuning into this episode. Thank you for 90 episodes right now of Empty to mention a lot more combined with Unspoken. Follow us across social media at ETV Sports, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's all our socials, our individual socials that are scrolling across the screen right now. And don't forget, give a follow, give a subscription here, twitch.tv/ETV Sports. And that'll do it for this episode. So for Nick Morgeson, Nick Federa, I'm Tom Albano. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.